As many people may know, renting in London is a madness. It's a total madness. Welcome and welcome back. It is Esther and we're all about good vibes and positivity around here. So it's been a hot minute, but yes, I am back. Things haven't been feeling the same without filming, but yeah, I'm doing better now. We are in our new space, we are all settled in, almost fully settled in, and now that we're on the other side of everything, I feel that this is the time to actually share and help others, basically. So as I said in my last video, we've left London, praise God, woot woot. Yeah, it's been something that we have been planning for basically over a year, you know, preparing ourselves that yeah, we're most likely going to leave London for numerous reasons, but the main thing that really just like was, you know, literally pushing us over the edge and just making it seem like yeah, this is not sustainable to stay in this city anymore, was our landlord from our previous property. Praise God, you know, we are now out of that situation. It was just such a stressful time, and it's just crazy the way you know, renters are suffering in this world. I would say, I guess in the Western world it seems to be an issue like for everybody at this moment. How the story goes, you know, we moved into that property. We were in a 2-bed flat. We're pretty spacious, to be honest, for London. We moved into that property with our daughter when she was 1 year old. She's now 5, so that's giving you context as to how long we were there. We fell pregnant with our second child in 2022, and our landlady, because she was one of those constantly like all up in your business kind of person, just constantly contacting me. We were talking one morning when she called me, and then you know, it came up in the conversation that we were expecting, of which I had let her know at the beginning of our tenancy in 2020 that we would most likely you know, be having another child while staying in this property, and which she was completely fine with. Anyway, fast forward now to 2022. She finds out that we're pregnant, and then literally the next day I'm getting a call from our agency asking if it's possible for somebody to come over to value the property. Like, that was just random. Anyway, long story short, it just turns out that our landlady just didn't want us in the property anymore. I'm guessing because another child was going to be in the property. And she wanted to increase the rent, which is completely understandable, as it was at the time that interest rates were peaking to all-time highs, affecting mortgage rates also. So she did inform me that, you know, she'd be looking to increase the rent, but that she does not want to renew our tenancy come February. She let me know this around June, July 2022. Okay, like thrown off by that, because we most likely would have needed to renew in February. She wanted us out so bad that, number one, she did not give us the opportunity to even pay additional rent. She didn't say, oh, would you like to pay like, would you be willing to pay an increased rent come February? Yeah, didn't give us that option. She simply said my husband and I would not like to renew. Okay, and then you want us out so bad that you are now even saying you can start looking for a new place now and have your child in another property, and I will not charge you an early termination of the lease. I won't charge you a fee for early termination of the lease. Okay. This unfortunately started a pretty stressful period for us, despite me already being pregnant. Now I'm thinking about, you know, we're not wanted in this property anymore. We need to now leave, and there's a deadline as to how long we can stay in this house. it was, and another thing that was like adding to the stress was that our eldest child was, you know, due to start school the following September, like after that summer basically. And so we needed to be somewhere that we would then do the applications for her school for. It just didn't make sense applying for schools in that house knowing that we're probably not going to be here, you know, by the time she starts school. As many people may know, renting in London is a madness. It's a total madness. It's really, the competition is disgusting. The price is obviously outrageous. It's near impossible in this current time to rent a property for an affordable price. So yeah, around this time that all of this was happening in 2022, that was when, obviously, like I said, with the interest rates being at all-time highs, obviously landlords are now, you know, passing those costs on to tenants. It's near impossible to find anything decent and affordable. And that is basically the issue that we were facing in this time. We literally had a newborn and we were still looking for somewhere and we couldn't find anything. This is not even us staying in London. At this point we had been doing viewings in Reading, in Surrey, yeah, basically looking like further out, still not finding anything. So yeah, the stress levels were at an all-time high, and this obviously was not good for me being pregnant. And then, like I said, now we have a newborn on our hands at the end of 2022 and we are still going on viewings with a newborn. It was just stupid, and I was just like, no, this is enough. So I just sent our landlady a voice note, you know, just being polite, even though I really shouldn't have been, but I was just being polite, you know, Happy New Year. This was now January, so Happy New Year. You know, this is, sorry, I missed out a part because we had actually received notice to leave the property just after a baby girl was born. So this notice is called a Section 21. Letting us know that we have 2 months to vacate the property. I remember the 8th of March was the day that we needed to be out by, 8th March 2023. And yeah, so like this date was always on our heads, like, oh my gosh, you know, we need to be out by this time. We have 2 children. One child is going to be starting primary school soon. What are we doing? And the deadlines for applying for a primary school was January 15th, I remember. So both of these dates were like proper in my head. Like, he needed to be in a new property before January 15th to apply for schools that were close to the house that we'd be living in. So yeah, now we're just, I remember in the car, I'm nursing baby girl. I'm just like, no, I've had enough of this rubbish. It doesn't make sense. We are driving around in the evening, which is basically like pitch black outside because it's winter. We're looking for a place to live, and for what? We haven't done anything. We're not ready to leave this place, and it's impossible to find anything. Like, the things that we were seeing for quite expensive were just complete garbage. And I remember that day, that's the thing that really just made me just lose it, basically. Like, no, I'm not doing this. We had driven like maybe 30-40 minutes to Uxbridge, which is still West London. Is that West London area?
Yeah, that's West London.
Which is still West London, so yeah, like not even that far out. And and it was actually a house. Was it a house?
Yeah.
It was a house. I think it was a 2-bed house though. And so obviously, you know, moving from a flat to a house is already an upgrade, right? Or so you would think. So we're doing this viewing. As soon as we walked in, I was like, yeah, this is a no. And then the woman was like, so is this a deal breaker then? Is it a no? And then I was trying to be you know, trying to be open-minded. So I was like, okay, no, we'll still continue. We walked upstairs. The smell of feces, whatever it was disgusting. I was like, absolutely not. My children cannot, like, they cannot live in something that is like this in this current state. Obviously smells, you know, shouldn't be a thing, but it was like absolutely not. And I was like, yeah, no, this is there's no need to see any more, and that was it. And then I remember there was another viewing not too far from that property, and it was just tiny. It was tiny, and once again expensive. So no. So like I said now, I sent our landlady a voice note just letting her know that we will not be inconveniencing ourselves any longer. You know, she can take us to court if that's what she needs to do. That there's no reason for us to have to leave the property by the time she's saying, when we're not ready and we can't find anything, and you know, we have a newborn. We literally have a 6-week-old, or she was 5 weeks old at that point. Like, it made no sense. I'm not even going to go into detail as to, you know, what happened after that, but in the long run, we basically had to fight for another year to stay in that property, and that's what happened. Obviously, you know, negotiating back and forth with paying an increased rent, and yeah, that's what we did. So then once again now, so basically the whole year, from even the moment that we signed the new contract for that place, we were already, well, it was really my husband that was just like, you know, we do not need this to happen again. We need to start looking for places like immediately. So even though we signed a new contract for 12 months, we literally were looking from that February 2023 for a new place, and if we find something, let's say like 3 or 4 months down the line, then we will give 2 months notice to our landlord, you know, that we're ready to leave. The different thing about this new contract was that there was a 6-month break clause, so either party could initiate the end of tenancy with 2 months notice. Basically a whole year we're looking for a new place, still can't find anything that is up to our standard and that is affordable. Back to our landlady wanting us out so bad. I remember my husband and I received an email from her around maybe like 5-6 months into the tenancy, the renewed tenancy, and her email was just saying that basically that we need to remember that she is not renewing the tenancy, you know, at the end of those 12 months, and that we need to have. She hopes that we are finding alternative accommodation. Obviously that email irritated us. It's of course rude, and you know, what do they say, silence is the best answer for a fool. So we ignored that email. I remember I just deleted it, in fact. And so then in November we received a letter which was actually another section 21, and I remember just seeing that and just dashing it to one side, basically like, this is more important right now, because they were actually basically given notice early just to inform us that, you know, our tenancy would be ending on the 27th of February 2024. I'm actually just, this story is so long, but I'm just trying to make it as short as possible. So yeah, like I said, the year was going by, but almost it was every day at one point, but then I was just like, no, this is just ridiculous. Just, you know, giving myself a week break here, 2 weeks break here. But let's say I'm not looking, my husband is looking. Like literally our shared media on WhatsApp for basically a year, even more than a year and a half, it's just right move, just Zoopla, properties. It was never ending. And so yeah, we were always going on viewings, just literally wasting our time, and nothing came of it, unfortunately. At this point now, it's getting to, you know, it's getting to December, it's getting to Christmas. We're actually receiving phone calls from the agency, you know, asking if they can start having viewings of the property for new tenants, and we're like, no, we haven't found somewhere new, so no, right? We really just had to stand our ground that, you know, we don't want anybody in our space while we're here until we have found something. And then it would make sense, basically. And then January comes around, you know, January 3rd, I remember, the agents once again on our back about us moving out, basically. It was made very, very clear by the landlady that she did not want us there, and she made it very clear also that it was just a matter of racism. Like, there's no two ways about it. That is the only thing that that is the only thing that it could have been. And then so the question is, if it was racism, why did she rent the house out to you in the first place? Because that's what I wondered as well, and that's what I had to ask her. And she made it very clear when I asked her in 2022 that, you know, she just needed the house to be occupied like immediately after the previous tenant had moved out in the heart of the pandemic, because, you know, she was desperate. So basically it was a lovely place and it was our luck, but in the end, was it worth it? I don't know. But it's out of pure greed, basically, for her financial gain, that she rented it out to, you know, people of our race. We have to be honest with ourselves, and it's just an unfortunate thing that, you know, we have to deal with. Yeah, so anyway, fast forward to us just finally finding a place. It was my husband that actually found this place that I'm currently sitting in, that we're currently living in. And yes, it is, you know, 2 hours outside of London, but it is something that we started thinking about moving here basically from January this year. And we came to visit and we loved it, and we decided, yeah, this is the spot we're going to move to. So the thing with moving so far out of London, well, it's not so far, but it's far enough. The thing with moving far out of London is that obviously viewings is now an issue, because we can't keep driving 70, 80, 90 miles one way to view a property that you might not even get. So after quite a few rejections, basically, just to rent a place in Ipswich, finally after my husband applied for this one, within an hour or so, it was positive news that the landlord would be happy to rent to us. This is without us physically seeing the place, which was just, you know, unheard of, to be honest, because most people, they just, I don't know what it was, but they just were so adamant on the fact that, no, you need to physically view this place to even stand a chance, basically. And like I said, competition for renting places is just out of this world, and we were learning that was a problem even out of London as well. And just thinking, you know, like, literally, what are we going to do? So we just had to trust in God, you know, move in faith, and you know, just be happy, obviously, that somebody has agreed to rent their property without much complication, basically. And so from that moment on, so all we had basically paid at that point was the holding deposit, and then from that moment on, once that holding deposit was paid, we started packing. Like, we were like, okay, we have somewhere to go, let's start making a move. So from that day of the holding deposit being paid, we basically moved out to this property within about 10-11 days, so it was quite quick. But this whole process has definitely strengthened my faith, my husband's faith in God, in the fact that we were literally moving in faith from the very beginning. We were telling people that we were moving to Ipswich way before we even found this place. So we were telling people that we were definitely moving to Ipswich once we found this place, and we were packing boxes, packing bags, packing, like, you know, basically decluttering everything of the previous property in preparation to move before anything was actually finalized for this place. In saying that, I mean that we hadn't actually made payment for, we hadn't signed the contract basically. No further payment had been made until the day that the tenancy was actually about to start, which was the 1st of March. It all sounds very insane, sounds very crazy, but faith is literally all that we had at that time, and that's what we just had to trust in God. And the thing that made me just keep making movements and just, you know, just keeping on despite things really not being certain was a video put out by by the Clements, who interestingly enough, I believe they're from West London also, but they now live in America. One of their previous videos, like quite recent actually, they was just about them moving in pure faith and not by sight, when it was time for them to move into a new property from their apartment basically in Atlanta. I just kept on thinking about them, and you know, God came through for them and God was going to come through for us. And just in us being able to find this property, my husband finding this property during his working day, and you know, the response being so quick, was already God talking to us that we're going to be fine. And that's exactly what happened in the end, and we praise God. So it wasn't until the 1st of March, which is basically the day we should be moving in, but it wasn't going to be anyway because it was a Friday, and you know, life moves on. Life has to continue as normal, and we weren't going to be able to move until the Saturday anyway. But we basically signed the contract on the 1st of March, and then we made our way to Ipswich over here on the 2nd of March, and we've been here ever since. Basically, the moral of the story is just renting in England is very hard. Section 21 is a terrible, disgusting, very nasty law that needs to be abolished ASAP. It should have been abolished a long time ago. It's really not fair that landlords have the ability to just click their fingers and effectively make somebody homeless for no real reason, just because they want you out of their property. And I'm just at extreme peace now to be out of that property and out of London in general. Yeah, this is more our vibe. Slower pace, but still we're in a town, but we're still getting city vibes, to be honest. And most importantly, our eldest daughter, we can't really say much for you know, our youngest, but she seems very content and very happy here. But most importantly, our eldest daughter absolutely loves it here. She's loving her school to the point that she can't really remember her old school, but she's loving her school. She's loving you know, the fact that we're by the water, just the fact that like, even like town centre has like her favourite stores. Yeah, just the little things she's really appreciating, and that's extremely important, and just reassuring that we definitely made the right decision, my husband and I, in coming here. Everything happened in the time that it was meant to happen. Everything is aligned so amazingly in this new location for us, in ways that it definitely, I don't think, would have happened if we were like in Reading or Surrey, or even like Uxbridge or anything. Yeah, basically everything has happened in the time that it was meant to. This was all God's plan. it was a real struggle getting here, but we are finally here. And it might just seem so simple to some people to move from A to B, but just honestly, the fact that we are here, that we are in Ipswich, it means so much to me. And yeah, just every time I'm just out and about, just walking, I see the word Ipswich, or I hear Ipswich, or I see Suffolk on the radio, you know, Ipswich, they say Suffolk. It just really, it has so much meaning to me, because it wasn't easy getting here, it really wasn't. But yeah, super grateful to finally be here and to just be in a much better space, a much better situation. And yeah, it can only go up from here. And I do hope that anybody that is in such a situation or finds themselves in anything similar, that they just have faith and know that better days are always ahead and things will always get better. And no man has any control over your life. Our landlord, our landlady, our previous landlady, you know, come for her. She made our lives absolute hell for basically a year and a half. But at the end of the day, that's all she has, you know, that's all she has. She has that property, of which is a leasehold property. You don't actually own it. It's glorified. You're a glorified renter. And it's just not that serious. It's not that deep. At the end of the day, we enabled your business to keep on going, and you had no value for us whatsoever. So yeah, better days are ahead, and yeah, we're just super grateful to be here. So thanks to everybody who watched this far to the very end, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao ciao.